He's one of the most unwise people in media. I feel sorry for him. He's almost 70 years old and has acquired no wisdom in his life. Is this funny? Absolutely.
I'm looking at people like Bill Maher, who is positioning himself as an honest broker and someone that can see both sides. Should I buy it, or is this just a business decision?
Bill Maher?
Bill, he's, I don't buy it, but I'm just asking you. It seems like it's a gimmick. He went to the White House with Kid Rock and they had dinner and he talked about it and he said something halfway positive about Trump. Is this just a business decision or
He's one of the most unwise people I've ever met. And I don't mean that as an attack. I mean, I feel sorry for him. He's almost 70 years old and has accrued no wisdom in his life. And that's what I respect in people, particularly men, women too. I respect wisdom, not knowledge, not glibness, a deep understanding of the way people are and the way the world works. That's what I really, really care about. Who've got priorities that are real, that are enduring, because our lives are not enduring. Our lives will be forgotten. Our graves will be unvisited, actually, over time. We will not count in history. But understanding that, understanding just how little power you have, understanding that what really matters is what comes after this, like those are the roots of wisdom. And I feel like he has none of that at all. So I don't listen to a single word he says ever.
it's not?
Well, I mean, he's not wrong about Bill. The same guy who, not to mention, just a few years ago, would scream from the rooftops, calling and be stating that Donald Trump was the next dictator, and then all of a sudden had a nice little sit down with Trump, and all was well. I mean, how many times has Bill been wrong about a lot of social and political issues that we are dealing with now? Not to mention, we know how the media operates. It's all about access and connections. Calling him unwise, that's definitely a brutal kick right there in the gut.
Not to beat up on Mar, but I will take a couple of shots here. Uh, the Bible is the source of all wisdom, and you can be really smart without the Bible, but you cannot be wise. And so when I see someone like Mar who loves to mock Christianity and but loves all the benefits of America's Christian founding. And these guys, this is where I give Adam Carolla credit. He's agnostic, I believe, but he's willing to say, I'd rather live next door to a Christian person than virtually anybody else. And
See, now I got to stop here. I would listen, if you're a good person, you could be my neighbor. Remember the teachings of the wise man, Mr. Rogers. Everybody's nice. Well, not everybody's nice, but hey, if you're a neighbor, hey, awesome. I've had many neighbors in my lifetime. I think I've only had one bad neighbor, okay? One bad neighbor, and eventually they were kicked out. We've all dealt with it. But guess what? If you're a good person, it shouldn't matter who you worship. It shouldn't matter the color of your skin, what generation you're part of. If you're a good person, hey, you're a good neighbor. And listen, in this day and age where society is so heavily isolated, oh my goodness, we all got to work together as we should.
And Mars starting to figure out like there is no free speech without Christianity.
Huh, that's for sure.
We are so tolerant and forgiving, and we can laugh at ourselves because we accept how effed up we are. And the godless leftists take themselves so seriously.
See, this is how you cause further divide. Look, there's a lot of people. Look, I have friends who are Christian, who are Muslim, who are Jewish. I have friends who are black, white, Latino, Arab. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I have friends who are Jewish, who I have friends of all sorts of of all sorts of regions and faiths. I have friends who are boomers, Xers, millennials, Gen Z. You got to embrace everybody. I mean, that's one of the fundamentals of all religion. You got to be tolerant and embracing of all. It's all about love and peace, right? Maybe I'm too much of an idealist. And look, I even got somebody calling me on my phone. I don't even know who that is. That could be scam likely. I've been getting a lot of those recently. Why scam likely calling me? But then again, see, that's you got to show people love because that's probably some scam artist who's just trying to scam somebody else. Bless their hearts, they're just trying to be a bad person. But you got to embrace everybody. No, listen, and I've seen egomaniacs come in all forms and shapes who think they're better than everybody else. It's not just one group, especially not in the left.
Think they're God, and that's why they get offended if they get criticized or mocked or made jokes about. But yeah, so I'm not. I totally agree with you about Bill Maher, and I've occasionally enjoyed his program.
You got to feel sorry for people like that, though. Like in the end, it's all fun. You're rich, tons of hot, 22-year-old girlfriends and everything. So fun. And then you get like Parkinson's or you get old. You know what I mean? And there's nobody there, and like you don't believe anything, and there's just a blankness ahead of you, and like you're terrified. You're terrified. Imagine being an atheist on your deathbed, having just seen people die in the last couple of years, and we all have seen people die. Like, you don't want to be that person, and we should feel compassion. I mean it too. I'm not being patronizing. I'm being sincere.
Okay, that one last part. Look, everybody has an expiration date. Just don't go before it. We all have our expiration date. We don't know when that's going to happen. But I've seen those who pretend to be very religious be absolutely alone. I have seen those who act holier than thou be absolute hypocrites. And I've seen those who are not religious at all be surrounded by love and peace. Look, we all have our time to go. I mean, that's abundantly clear if and when those things happen, those days happen. But what I find infuriating and enraging is that, that conversation there just adds more fuel to the divide. See, I can talk to people and still respect their opinion. Now, Bill Maher and Tucker Carlson, look, they're part of that big club. They're part of that big social club, and they can do whatever they want. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if they're private messaging each other and talking to each other because they're friends. They all know each other. They're all buddies. They're all pals. That cannot be denied. But nonetheless, what's the big takeaway? My takeaway is this. Always be ready to learn something new. Don't be set in your ways or your beliefs. Be prepared to face new challenges and speak to people who do think differently. Or either that might be different from you. You might be surprised that you have a lot more in common, and you'll learn something about your new friend or neighbor. See, that's the problem with the media environment that we created, is that a lot of these talking heads, these pundits, have successfully divided us. And one thing I have to shout out for my audience here for Hard Lens Media, you guys and gals, you guys have broke down those barriers. Nobody is right. Nobody is absolutely correct. It's a whole learning process, and we have to get through it together.